So this evening is a possibility for us to discover a way of being here without any pressure and without needing something else than this. And this approach is based on the Buddhist insight that we suffer, we are restless, we are dissatisfied because we have a sense that we need something else, that we need something else to be complete. And when I say complete, it's another word of being fulfilled, being content. Being in a place where you don't need, where there's no need to go further. Being in peace. And when we think about it, in a way we are all on that journey to come to that place of completion. All the different projects in our life we have, all the different things we do, they come from that longing in us to be at home, to be at peace, to be fulfilled. So a possibility we have is to slide into that place, which is not really a place. It's maybe more correct to say it's a state of mind. Where we don't need something else, by allowing this moment to be exactly as it is, allowing yourself to be exactly as you are. To kind of slide into that amazing big heart. This big love which is residing in your heart, residing in your body, which wants to be revealed which wants to shine. A sign for a liberated person is that this person she has always what she needs. And this is happening for us in this moment. In this moment we have everything we need. There's nothing to compete here. There's nothing to prove. You don't need to defend yourself. The body functions, they are more or less okay for all of us here. I can see. Of course we have all some kind of challenge, but it's enough. Good enough. So what I invite you, using like an image, what I invite you is to shift your sense of who you are from the clouds to the sky. And nothing needs to change for that. So you might think, yeah, but first I need to get rid of this nervousness, or first I need to be more awake. I'm too tired, or I'm too sad, or I don't understand what he is talking about. So explore what happens if you let that be okay. It's just some clouds coming and going, passing. And certainly there's enough space in your heart for all of that. For some tiredness, for some fear, for sadness, for discomfort in your body. Your heart is bigger than that, much bigger. So, and then when we sit quietly like this, very beautiful, beautiful presence, simple, and you come to a space of frustration, or you kind of sense, oh, this is not working for me. Well, maybe then you just open your eyes again if you sit with closed eyes, and you look around a little and you feel the presence, the radiance of the presence of the people around you who do all the same. So we can support each other in this stillness. Big heart, big mind. And what we can appreciate is that this moment takes care of itself. This moment happens by itself. And it can't be different. It absolutely can't be different than it is. Breathing. And the sounds, my voice, and the subtle sounds of the people around you. Maybe some coughing. And then your thoughts and the feelings and the mood you're in. Let that be okay. And since there's nothing to think about here, nothing to understand, you don't need to figure out what I say, so you can let your thoughts drift like clouds, or like waves coming and going. You'll notice how beautiful they arise from the open heart, from the open mind, and dissolve again into the open heart, into the open mind. Or maybe feelings arise. Sensations in your body. Welcome them all. And what also happens by itself is the stillness, the presence, timeless presence. The openness of this moment. Even if your mind is somewhat agitated or you're tired, stillness is also happening. The vastness of your own being, the depths of this moment, without boundaries, without center. your breath like waves on a shoreless ocean. Celebration of your life. And appreciate how the floor, how the earth carries you. Resting. Just resting in this moment, while not finding this moment. While not knowing who is resting. Just resting. Nothing to do for you. And sometimes you notice that you create a sense of incompleteness by constructing stories about the past, worries about the future, or judgments about the present moment. And just notice that. You don't need to do anything with that. Just notice that. If discomfort arises, an option is to not make a problem out of it. Seeing it as a natural ingredients of life. And tapping in this incredible resource we all have to be at ease with discomfort. Just to be at ease. again, an option always is to notice the stillness, which is always already there. Like shifting the attention from the surface of the ocean to the depth, to the calmness, an ocean of calm. So moments of completion, they arise in our life in a beautiful way. We have moments of just being fulfilled, just being complete with what is. Kind of moments where time stands still. Maybe over the Easter days, when you manage to slow down somewhat. Maybe you had moments like that, where nothing more was needed. It's really, I think it's supportive to acknowledge that. That although it seems there's a lot of things in our life which should be different, and we can be in places of a lot of pressure, a lot of incompletion, like really being stressed, really trying to get somewhere else, thinking that that somewhere else is the place of completion. And suddenly, in moments of grace and in moments of love and moments of gratitude, kind of we step out of that prison of incompletion. And it's strange because nothing changes. It's not that suddenly you have another job or another partner, or nothing changes. Something in your mind changes, something in your heart. And you didn't solve any of these problems which seems to be prevent yourself from being content. So these are moments where that innate capacity we have, that innate freedom, kind of breaks out, breaks through. It could be that right now some of you are in a period in your life where that seems to be far away. Maybe you need to make some effort actually to remember that it hasn't been like this all the time. And I talk about maybe just split seconds. I'm not talking necessarily about a big dramatic spiritual experience of oneness or something. Just a split second of and it is really sad that quite often in our life, in our culture, that we don't value these moments. We don't see them for what they are. They are too mysterious, too beyond words. We can't put them into a box. Maybe we can write a poem about it, or make a drawing, or but it could be that you rather have a feeling it's too fragile even to talk about it. Does not make sense to talk about it. And one can say that all spiritual practices are support or tools or attitudes which help us to be in that state or place or more often, more frequent, deeper. And maybe, at least I know that from my experience, sometimes we even have I have a sense of a possibility to be there all the time. Be there means being here. And we are always being here. We can't get away from being here. And one support I invite you to explore here in the evenings, and then from radiating into your daily life, is the practice of self-compassion, the practice of responding to your feelings in a welcoming and kind and self-compassionate way. Not making a problem out of them. Are there any questions or comments to what I said? Rebellious thoughts? Yeah.
I have a question about demands. As a typical Western culture, you have demands about a job and with goals and projects and everything. And it's a paradox, because I thought about it a couple of weeks ago. We talked about you always had it's not a problem, but in a sense you have to manage. You have to breathe, you have to eat, you have to sleep, and in our culture you have to work to do that. And a lot of us are struggling / suffering because of the demands at our job, and we can't just say to help with it and then quit them. How to kind of deal with that whole clash of because you always start off, as you spoke of just earlier, to strive to somewhere else, that if I quit my job or if I travel to Tibet, then I'll be happy there being a monk. But maybe I won't, maybe I will, I don't know.
Yeah. So you feel that there is a pressure put upon you by your environment.
It's more of your demands to yourself.
Yeah.
That you constantly make demands that if I do this, then I have to do this better, or I have to do these kind of this amount of work today, or even if I don't fulfill it, then I'll go home and have punish yourself. Right?
It's interesting that you don't blame others for it. That's what most people do.
Well, I can't in the end. I can't.
Yeah, so you have already, so you take responsibility for it.
Yeah. I say, it's mostly in my head.
It's good that's in your head, because that's the place where you can do something about it.
It helps when you talk about so many other things, but and in the end, but it's just more the whole concept of demands. As you haven't really spoken about that yet, and
so you already acknowledged now that these demands, they are constructions which
I can play with them in the sense that as a demand is a complex concept. As there are demands in many levels, and you can demand by yourself that you work harder so you can buy a bigger car, and then your wife will be happier for you because you have a bigger car, but that's a construct. But there are some demands you can't escape. There are some demands that...
For example?
For example, that you have to pay your rent
Yeah.
You have to have a roof
Yeah.
over your head. You
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
earn enough money so you can have children, and so as a for Westerners there is some point where there are some demands you can't really escape from, and you have to you have to live with them. Because I can live with the thought that I'll never be rich or I'll never be a celebrity or anything. So I can live with that, but I can't have a demand for myself that my family and that they are happy.
Yeah. And what is the problem with that demand?
The problem is that I can't, in my head, make it go away. I can't really, I can't make it disappear. I can't work with it in the sense that I can do with striving to be rich or more beautiful or whatever. So I can't really take it away because it's nothing to do with me. It's to do with my family.
Could you imagine a way to be with that? I mean, just now as a kind of idea, to be with that in a more relaxed way. Probably you are even sometimes.
Of course.
Yeah. Sometimes you kind of, that's what I do. So how are you doing it then? Sometimes there seems to be more space around it, or there's the pain in it is gone, or something like that.
The last time the teacher here spoke about a river with drifting thoughts, and that you see maybe a beautiful ship and it drifts by, and so I can live with that. I have a sense of calmness or at ease with the situation, but once that situation kind of drifts along the river, you kind of strive back to that. So and then you start coming into a situation where you can the demands for yourself can escalate in the sense that more demands come on the table. You have to do more work. Have families unhappy.
Yes,
and you can't really give yourself the space. Instead of giving more space, the space disappears, becomes more narrow.
Sounds like life.
Exactly. And in a sense, I probably have it much better than a lot of the 6 billion people or 7 billion people on this earth.
So I wish I could help you. I think
I'm
it's good to talk like this because it's like an exploration for both of us, to explore that. Because for me it also happens in that way. There is a kind of sometimes there's a sense there's too much on my plate, and I feel pressured and kind of everything becomes more serious than it is. And then there's more opening and more peace with it. And one step for me is to just accept for now that it is like that. Not to put that pressure, that extra pressure on myself that I need to be already like fully liberated, fully enlightened. Which would mean that this wouldn't happen anymore for me. So if I just accept that as a kind of a natural rhythm of of how my life is at the moment. And knowing that these times of where it becomes demanding and pressure, that they will pass. And by now I have a pretty stable confidence in that, stable trust, just from my life experience, that it goes like this. Goes open, more openness. And then, exploring what we're doing here, and exploring other teachings which help you to be more in that ease and that openness. And I guess if you look back now, 5 years ago or 10 years ago, maybe you notice, there is actually a more stability, more capacity for being in a relaxed and easygoing space. And this will continue if you keep on digging into this, if you keep on exploring, and if you keep on using attitudes, using maybe a practice, using, and then that capacity will flower more. Is that helpful?
That's helpful, yeah.
Yeah. So just for me, I will not give up on that. With that I mean being curious and passionate about my own freedom. And then accepting that these moments of closeness, of stress, it's maybe even good that they are still there. And if you get there, then you call. I have it. I have the recipe. Yeah. And then you will be a celebrity. But you wouldn't care anymore. Yeah. Thank you for the question. It's a good question. You wanted to say something?
Yes, I was just thinking that it's also about not adding worries to your problems, like adding something extra to the problem or the work you have to do. Just try to relax and just,
it helped a lot starting here. So we all have our own journeys, I know, but as I have my attention span is as a length of a fish. I drifted too fast, but that helps a lot to kind of stay in the moment. Because once you start thinking, then while you're doing some work, then you think, I'll do the next thing in the same time. So you never finish the first one.
Yeah. Yes, it's right. To be curious about body awareness is really, really helpful for us. Yeah. And in my experience, it is also, even if I don't really understand or know what it is, what I take from moments like this, something I take without even knowing what it is. I can't put my finger on it, what it is. So I have that trust. That's why I'm sitting here. This is my discipline. I'm sitting here because then I'm in that field. And something bleeds into my life then. Yes.
I have to remind you that about a year ago, you told me exactly the difference of what you told him.
Yeah? I would be able to do this right now. So tell me what I told you. Yeah.
I was telling you that I, many years ago, woke up one Sunday morning with that fantastic feeling of being there,
Yeah.
of being here. And it lasted the entire day, so I actually decided to take a day off the next day, but it was gone. I only had that feeling once or twice ever since, just enough to know what I'm missing.
Yeah.
So I've been going after this feeling for years and years, and I can now smell it. And that's what I told you. And then you told me, give it up. Give up, follow,
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course I know the difference of, I know it's the same you actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah. 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 Thank you.
I guess it still stands there.
Yes, it still stands. Certainly.
Because I am trying to give up.
Yeah.
Surrender.
Yeah.
And I would say that the reason why I can't entirely surrender, or that is when I know, damn it, I thought I got it now. It is because of I'm still judgmental. I'm still I haven't learned the lesson yet. I'm still missing something. Mainly,
what is that, what you miss?
not to be judgmental for once.
Yeah.
For one. And the other thing is to really trust who I am.
What do you need for trusting who you are?
That surrender, total surrender.
Surrender to?
To God.
Yeah. Let's have a... Thank you. Let's have a break.
Yes.
So let's take the opportunity again to sit in this simple way together. And maybe now at the end of the day and towards the end of the evening, it's quite easy for us to allow ourselves to just be here without needing to do something. So sometimes it's easier for us in the evening to, okay, the day is done, and so now I allow myself to just breathe and just be. I don't need to be productive anymore. So, and I invite you to be in that space of not needing to be productive, not needing to perform something. To explore the value of this moment, the value of your being without being productive, in a way being useless. Making a gesture of welcoming to your body and your breath. And enjoying the space here. Also the moving energy of the break, of moving around and talking and connecting. Nobody alone. The whole body breathing. And it's like dancing with the breath, dancing with the sensation in your body, and dancing with your thoughts. And in a dance you are also aware of the space around you. So in the same way, while dancing with the content of our experience, we are also aware of the stillness. In which the dance happens. And this stillness is inexpressible, beautiful. And then towards the end of the evening, towards the end of the sitting, we can just appreciate how precious it is to, how fortunate we are that we have the opportunity to sit like this together, and that all of us here, we took the time, the energy and the money to be here tonight. And we can easily recognize how a moment of peace like this, a moment of stillness, is a beautiful gift. To the people we live with, to the people we work with. To the people we meet on the street. And that makes this evening in particular beautiful, that we are here for others. And from this moment, you can imagine yourself in the challenging areas in your life in a more balanced way, with more self-compassion, kindness, more freedom. Knowing that whenever you enter a situation with somewhat more peace, with somewhat more groundedness, then your presence is actually a gift to the people. One mindfulness practice which can support us to relax into a space of completion more and more in our life is to become more mindful when we create incompletion and how we do it. How do we create incompletion, the sense of incompletion? What kind of habits do we have? And one you mentioned, this habit often of running from one project to the next, a kind of leaning into the next moment. To become aware of that when we do that. But also becoming aware of ways how we create incompletion in our relationships through the way we communicate. So incompletion here means that we do something, we say something, and it's incomplete. It's like we want to go back, we want to fix, we regret. And then we feel incomplete. So how can we, like as an exploration, how can you be in your meetings, in your relations, in your communications with your family members, more a sense of, okay, what I said, that was what I wanted to say. And I can move on. In the Buddhist practice we have support here through the practice of forgiveness. The ethical guidelines of how to speak mindfully and constructively. It's really a sign of our goodness that we feel incomplete if we are not decent. It's fantastic in a way. We are too good to feel complete after having cheated someone or after having hurt someone. So the practice, the Buddhist practice, exploring the ethical guidelines, they are actually a support for the practitioner to create a space of completion, a space where you can move on without needing to kind of clean up the mess behind you. So if you don't have a mess behind you which you need to clean up, it's like it's more peace. And sometimes, of course, because we say stupid things and nasty things and childish things. The practice of admitting your mistakes or apologizing or yes.
I have an issue with exactly that of how can you say, not wanting it not to be complete. with people, so I don't. Like for me to say something, if somebody did something hurtful, I even get a reaction just to then I put so much guilt on myself from, how can you say, to say it. So then it becomes well, my question is it better than to not do if I get such a strong reaction of saying if somebody didn't show up 2 times and I would feel like, is it completely crazy? Like it's a fear of not having that, complete with things or something.
Yeah. So one option is to be complete with being incomplete.
Yeah. See, that's what I have a strong reaction.
No, it's very practical. It's not philosophical. It's being complete with being imperfect.
Yeah.
And that is something, it can be a sense in the body. It can be, I'm not talking about just, blah blah blah, saying it to you, but really like, okay.
Yeah, because I avoid that, then I just don't say it, but then I also, the incompletion.
So there is no, we are all so different, so you need to find your own way to reach the place where you are most at ease with how it went.
Yeah. Okay. Because that's a really big issue for me. Thank you.
So maybe you can just contemplate this, what I said, to be complete with being incomplete, to be complete with being imperfect, to be complete with not having the perfect relationship with your father.
Or friend, like in this show someone.
Yeah.
The problem is it then in me that I have to, or should I should I tell the person, is it more inside experience, or should you put limits and say, okay, you didn't show up 3 times? That's enough.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Are you seriously asking me to give you an answer? No. I know that it's easy to ask this kind of question as if there's a recipe.
Yeah.
But just from my sense of what I have right now, I would say it would be probably good if you train that. For some people, for some people, they don't need to train that. For them, it's more about being more gentle, and but it could be that for you, it's more about being a little bit more straightforward in saying no, or this is too much, or. But again, there is no general answer to that.
Yeah, but it helped too, because just hearing that, then it adds to my completion of, then I should actually be even nicer. Do you know what I mean? My mind goes to that.
Yeah.
So it's perfect to say that I'm being complete with being incomplete.
Yeah.
And that I don't have to,
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's maybe, that can create some space, So, and then you can feel is there actually something, like, can I use this situation to train my capacity to say no?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's why I'm saying it. It helps to say it out because that's how it starts.
But then this kind of no and playing with it is coming from a more peaceful place.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for this nice evening. Special silence today. Even the silence is different sometimes. And I just want to mention that next week on Wednesday there is the Generalversammlung. Yeah, do you say it like that? Yes. Generalversammlung? Yeah. Okay. On Wednesday at 5 o'clock. So everyone is welcome, and you are very welcome to make some input to that. If you have some suggestion or just want to come and see who's the board and support this place just through your presence, then you're very welcome. So it's not that you will be forced to do things and become a volunteer or something like that, but it's nice if some of you show up just to show your support and your appreciation of this place. Yes, and then you wanted to say something about Maria's course?
Yeah. There's a course on living and dying starting this weekend. Actually, I think Anna, you're a volunteer for this.
Yes.
So maybe you can say something. Or should I?
No, I don't know. What is it? It's on Friday. I'm not sure about the time actually, but it's on Friday night.
It's a post out there?
Yeah.
And it's 3 weekends, isn't it?
3 weekends, yes.
And she's very good and trained, like working with people who are about to die, like the hospice process.
Yeah, there's some spaces for that course. She has done this now since, I think, 15 years or 10 years. And so you can read about it on our website. It's we have this conscious living and dying group, which is a group of volunteers who support people who are sick and people who are dying. And so Maria is the supervisor and the trainer of that group of volunteers. So if you know someone who could be interested in that, or if you would like to learn about this for yourself, it's preparation for your own death, but it is a fact that most of us will be called to be in the presence of a person we love who is dying. And it's fantastic if at that moment you have some tools in your hand. It makes a big difference for yourself, and because it makes a big difference for yourself, it will make a big difference for the person you will sit with. And it is just like that it's a beautiful gift. Yes.
I didn't understand, was it this Friday?
Yeah.
And then 3 Fridays on?
3 weekends.
No, not in a row, but
3 weekends,
3
okay.
different weekends.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's few weeks between, right?
Between them,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I think it's once a month.
Months and months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember it was.
I think
Yeah.
it's something like that.
But is it only one evening or is it the
No,
whole weekend?
No, it's Friday night and Saturday and Sunday.
Okay,
No, but it's
Yeah.
only the first time. I think it's only Friday night, but then it's Saturday and Sunday.
Sorry?
It's only once Friday night.
Only Friday night?
Only once.
Oh, yeah.
Friday.
Okay,
And
yeah,
the
yeah.
other ones are- Okay, people just need to read about this.
Yeah.
So the first week is Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.